Hello everybody, it is Micah. Welcome back to my channel. So this week I'm going to take a brief interlude away from gaming and talk about some of my other interests, because believe it or not, I do have a few. And like a lot of people, one of those interests is of course television. There's nothing like coming home from a long week and just throwing yourself back on the couch and just binging out a favorite show all weekend. So every now and then I'm going to talk to you about some of my favorite shows and maybe give you something to watch this weekend. Of course, I will keep things as absolutely spoiler free as I can, so don't worry. This week, since it's the first week, I really want to talk about one of my favorite TV shows, and that of course is 6 Feet Under. 6 Feet Under was created and produced by Ellen Ball, who you may also know from American Beauty and True Blood, and it originally debuted on HBO on June 3rd of 2001. It ran for 63 episodes split between 5 seasons, ending on August 21st of 2005. And in that time, it was both nominated for and won a whole bunch of awards, including 9 Emmys, 3 Screen Actor Guild Awards, and a Peabody. And all of that's great, but you're probably more interested in what this show is about. Well, it's about the Fishers, a family who run their own funeral home in California. In the opening of the very first episode, Nathaniel, played by Richard Jenkins, the patriarch of the Fishers, gets killed in a car crash, setting off a series of events and leaving his sons Nate, played by Peter Cross, and David, played by Michael C. Hall, to run the family business. Other characters include the wonderfully talented Frances Conroy as Ruth, the matriarch of the Fisher family, Claire, the daughter/sister, played by Lauren Ambrose, Federico, the mortician, played by Freddie Rodriguez, and last but not least, Brenda and Keith, portrayed by Rachel Griffiths and Matthew St. Patrick, respectively. So a show about a funeral home, I will admit, does not sound like too good of a time since there is a very strong theme of death and mortality. In fact, every episode begins with a death. But there's also a very strong theme of life and the relationships that we have with one another, even the ones that are not really that good for us. That being said, there's no real villain in the show, nor is there a hero. The characters are people, they're flawed, and they make mistakes. The relationships they have with one another are the same. They have moments of joy and peace, but there's also times of conflict and aggravation. But instead of having the characters never really straying too far from the narrowly defined parameters the writer set, which is something we see often in movies and television, the events that take place can sometimes dramatically change a character. Just like in real life, events that you experience dramatically can change you. The characters grow and develop to the point where they don't even seem like the same people they were in the pilot. You may love a character one season, hate them the next, and then maybe fall in love with them again later on. I know I certainly did. And although the setting is in a funeral home, as the Fishers for the most part live above, the emphasis on the funeral business isn't what's most important. It does definitely serve to be more than just a backdrop as they delve into the quagmire of the funeral trade from the get-go, as a large corporation tries to buy them out or put them out of business, something that's sadly all too real in the funeral industry. But 6 Feet Under is not as much about a family who runs a funeral home as it's about a family who just happen to run a funeral home. The show is more concerned with the characters' lives, relationships, personal struggles, and triumphs. Everything, however, is juxtaposed against the theme of death, as the writers use death very cleverly to show us that no matter how easy or tough, no matter how happy or sad, pleasurable or painful, easy or hard, our experiences are what matter. We should continue to push forward and not let ourselves stagnate in our mistakes or failures as long as there's life in our chest. Death is not the end of our physical body, it's the end of our ability to experience life. There's no drama for the sake of having drama in 6 Feet Under. There are no characters manipulating things behind the scenes for some convoluted reason. There's no characters with personality traits that make them an extreme other. We are literally just watching people experiencing life, and it works extremely well. One reason for this is the writing and the tendency for the show to avoid common tropes and handhold the audience, making the characters, as I said earlier, human and not creating situations that are outside the realm of feasible possibility. But another reason is the cast. They assembled such a masterful group of actors that do an amazing job bringing life to their characters. Although I do have to say, none do this better than Frances Conroy, who takes the character of Ruth, a character that could easily have been very flat and boring, and gave her such depth and complexity that she becomes a presence. Here, just watch.
I met a man at church once when your father didn't come with me. And he invited me for coffee. He said he liked my hair. He's a hairdresser, a widower. Well, they divorced before she died, so technically I guess he's divorced. He invited me to accompany him on a hike.
This is really not the time.
I didn't even have the right shoes. I wore
to just get this
sandals.
out.
No, well, I don't want to hear it.
I used to love hiking when I was younger and being outdoors. I always wanted to take you kids camping, but your father would never leave the business.
I'm also very fond of Claire, who I identify with greatly. And while there's a main cast, mostly consisting of the Fisher family, I would not say there's really a main character or just one person the show is focused on. It does feel in the beginning like Nate was supposed to be the star, for lack of a better word, but each family member brought so much to the table, no one's really more important than anyone else. 6 Feet Under was one of HBO's highest rated shows, and it ended with the popularity still high, and before any of the writing became stale. This also means the conclusion does not feel rushed, nor does it leave you unsatisfied. I personally believe the final 10 minutes of the series is one of the best 10 minutes of television, and the journey is well worth it to the end. So if I've perked your interest at all and you want to watch 6 Feet Under, as of the date of this recording, it's available on HBO's streaming service and also on Amazon Prime. But that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoy this show. I know I do immensely. In fact, after compiling the clips to make this video, I started binging it yet again, so you pretty much know what my weekend's going to consist of. If you have any favorite shows of your own, make sure you leave them in the comments, because I'm always looking for something new to watch, and who knows, it may give me something new to talk about in the future. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe, as I do release new videos at least once a week. And if you want to follow me on social media, everything is linked below. But as usual, it's been a hoot. Until next time, have fun.